Okay, I just gotta say it right now. This is for all my ladies out there. This is coming from a guy who's been on, I'm confident to say, over 100 dates, lived with women, dated women, friends with benefits, everything in between. Here's the trick. If you're talking to a guy and he's not trying to commit to you, and it seems like it's already been in that direction, and you're trying to justify, oh, maybe because he said he's busy, he said he's that, he says it's not a good time, he says, later on, maybe let's see into the future. No, he just doesn't like you enough. That's it. Because if he did like you, he would have tried to lock that down as fast as possible. Because if there's one thing guys can't stand is another dude having the possibility of touching, feeling up, banging his woman that he cares about. Keyword cares. So if he's not trying to lock it down, it means he doesn't care enough for you to be out in the open. Hate to use that terminology, but we're very simple-minded creatures, us men. So unless you plant the flag and say, hey, it's either my way or the highway, you're going to be with me or you're going to keep it moving, you'll get your answer pretty quick. So don't be afraid to be confrontational. Save yourself some time because your time is precious. And these guys, and I've been there, I've been that douchebag, I've been that dude, they will stay in it as long as they possibly can because you're convenient. And until it's not convenient, that's when it gets real. That's how you know if someone really likes you. And the only way to realize that and get the answer is to make it inconvenient and tell them either going to be with me or that's it. And just wait and see their response.
Okay, guys, before we get started, make sure you guys are following me on all the different social media. I am posting now regularly. You girls got it together. So make sure you follow me on TikTok at Melanie King Official and Instagram, Melanie King Official. I post different content on every single platform. So nothing is reposted or the same. You're going to get new stuff from me everywhere. So I wanted to break this down because I want to help women maybe understand this concept and maybe just kind of go over some of the things that he says, some things I agree with, and there's some things I don't agree. Well, there's one thing in particular I don't agree with, but let's go ahead and break this down. So the thing that really stood out for me that women need to recognize is that if a man is not committed to you, he does not care that you are out in the open. At least he doesn't think he cares. Now, there is something about that, people long for things they can't have. If you were to remove your presence, he may realize that he loves you. He misses you. He wants your presence back. And that's how he knows, because I think for a lot of us, we think we feel something or we think we know something about a person until they're gone. And then we realize, oh man, I miss their presence. So that is a case at times. But for the vast majority, he's not locking you down because of several reasons. Now, first, I'm going to go over the assumptions that women will make, and even an assumption that this man made as to why a man would not lock you down. So the one thing he said was that he said he was a douchebag type of guy. Now, maybe he was, not maybe, he's admitting that he was, and that some men are that way. Especially the younger that they are. Not saying there can't be guys who are older who are players or douchebags, but generally they've become that way because their experiences with women has been very toxic and they've just given up and they just rather just kind of go their own way. Nothing wrong with that. That's their personal choice and they shouldn't be criticized or critiqued because they're making a choice to choose themselves. But I will say this, I don't like the idea that a man is doing this because he's a douchebag. That's not the only reason. And I think a lot of women may assume that a man is a player simply because he won't commit to you. That does not mean that he is a douchebag. There are several reasons why, which I'll get into later. But that assumption needs to be dispelled. That myth, most men are not dogs and players. And to say that is simply fake news. The second thing that a woman will assume when a man is not committing to her is that he's just non-committal, that he is not that he's a player, but he's not really looking to settle down. He just wants to have a good time, or he wants to string a woman along, so he can get benefits of sex from her and just that's it. When this is not true, this assumption just does not on its face. There's no, there are some men like that, but for the most part, it's assigning these negative motives to a man. just because he's not committing to you. It's a little bit narcissistic to think that something's wrong with him because he won't commit to me. Like, why is that the assumption? Like, and this is where, they kind of roast me the wrong way, because I see a lot of this out there. The type of painting men in these negative light, these dogs, these men who can't commit, all these other things, when you don't really have the facts. Number 3, he's not committing because he's intimidated by you. The reality is he's not. It doesn't matter if you have success, a good job, a house, whatever you have going on. If he's a grown man, he's not intimidated that you have success, that he can't take all of you because you're a boss, you're a diva, you're a queen, you're a level up, whatever, that somehow he's nervous to commit to such a queen. Like, he will have to really step up his game to be with you. Maybe in some cases, but this is not the vast majority, and most likely why a man is not committing to you. And it's actually a form of narcissism to think that you're so high and above somebody else that they have to reach up to your level. Well, I think that speaks more to your mindset than it does to the man that you're assuming is just cowering in a corner, afraid of all your success or your boss diva energy. And number 4, that he needs to grow up, that he's just a little boy that doesn't have his stuff together, doesn't know what he wants from a woman. So he's not committing because he needs to somehow mature to a point where he will then commit to you. And so the assumption is that you're this grown woman who has it all together, and he's just a child that can't find his way in figuring out what he actually wants. Again, it's all this negativity towards the man, and it's all deflection. It's about what he's doing wrong, making assumptions about him, but there is no reflection, which is what we're about to get into right now. So here are some of the real reasons why he's not committing to you. And that's because he doesn't like a behavior or a pattern of behavior that you've exhibited. This could be over talking him. This could be being cursing. There's a lot of guys who do not like women who curse a lot. You have a temper. There could be that when you guys have a disagreement, it goes on for hours and hours, like you don't know when to stop. I've been guilty of that in the past. So I'm not pointing any fingers here. This is kind of a reflection to me. It could be that there could be a number of things that you personally are doing wrong that are negative that a man doesn't want. Maybe he doesn't feel like he can trust his emotions with you. Maybe you're jealous. Maybe you're immature. Maybe you're exhibiting things that don't really say wife and mother to him, at least not the qualities he's looking for. So instead of just assuming he doesn't want to commit to you because of all these other negative things, maybe it's time to look in the mirror and say, what's wrong with me? Or better yet, why not have a real conversation with him about, we've been dating for a while and I'm really interested in taking this to the next level. What's holding you back? Is there something that I'm doing wrong? You can be honest with me and learn to take that honesty. Don't throw it back in his face. Don't try to make it into this giant drama, but take the feedback, what he says, and maybe think and say, well, maybe this is a pattern of behavior I have. Or if he's saying he doesn't like this, there could be validity to it. Don't just dismiss it outright or take offense to it, which if we're honest as women, at least I have in the past, I've automatically taken offense and been like, how come he doesn't want me? I'm so beautiful. I'm this, I'm that, and the other. Well, beauty only gets you so far. Looking good only gets you so far. You have to have qualities that he actually wants. And yes, men actually want something other than what a woman looks like. The second reason is he's dating other women and another woman or several women are out competing you. I know it's hard to believe because we all like to think as women that we're a prize, that we're a princess, that we're special. And you are to you. And so, but we're not to other people. We have to prove our worth in this world. Nobody's coming to rescue us. We're not on a pedestal just because we're born with female anatomy. We have to prove our worth to a man. And in today's dating market, there's a lot of competition. Like, men have options, and to assume you're his only option or to assume that because you are dating him that he's going to choose you is just, once again, narcissistic, and it's having an overinflated view of yourself. And so if he is not committing to you, trust and believe maybe there is another woman that he is willing to, that he's finding, is giving him more of what he wants. And maybe he's on the fence. Maybe he's not sure. And he's still trying to give it more time. And But again, this falls back to not giving him an ultimatum, commit to me or else. You listen, I'm gonna hit the highway. Kind of what this guy says. That's the second thing I didn't like. He called men, he assumed men were dogs or being a douchebag like he's been. And then he also decided that men need this talking down to because they won't commit. Men know you want commitment. They know you want that. But they aren't going to volunteer the reasons why they're not committing to you. At least most men want. They don't want to take the backlash that's going to create, what's going to upset you, and it's going to create chaos and drama. Men will avoid drama at all costs. And if he thinks your reaction will be bad, then that actually harkens back to my last point, that there's a behavior or something that you've exhibited that he doesn't like. But there's also other women who fit him better, and you just haven't outcompeted them yet, if ever. Number 3, you guys don't have the same intentions. He could be a man who just wants to date, or maybe he is a player. I don't know. But for whatever reason, you have chosen a guy that is maybe your preference. Maybe he's tall, he's rich, he has a certain look, he wines and dines you. But he doesn't really have the qualities, if you're honest and take a look at it, that would make a good husband or a man that would be in a committed relationship. If he's doing all that and he looks all that way, he most likely has options. And why would he settle with you when he's enjoying his life as a bachelor? And there's nothing wrong with that. I hate demonizing men because they want to enjoy themselves and live a bachelor lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with this. I don't see why men are shamed for not wanting to jump into marriage, into a relationship. If you don't like that's his lifestyle, then you are free to leave. You can't berate or give a man an ultimatum and all of a sudden he's going to change who he is because you demand it. But this goes back to intentions. Are you dating a man who has the same intentions as you? Or are you dating a man who's your preference? Do you like guys who are bad boys? Do you like guys who are players? Do you like guys who are distant and don't really want to be around? Some of us are addicted to the wrong type of man. So you're trying to get the wrong man to commit to you, and you will chase him down and you will go through all these motions and do all these things to win this man over when he can never be won over. You're not going to do it. And the last reason I'm going to say is that he's just not that into you. Just period. You're just someone to pass time with. Maybe in the beginning, he thought that something could be there if you showed yourself to be special, really meant things that he was looking for. But over time, it just has become a thing that he's doing because you're an option for him to do, and he is waiting for something better to come along. Now, in that instance, there's nothing you can do about it and other than to leave and stop dealing with this man, or you can get real and have a conversation and maybe make some changes if that's even an option. But a lot of times we're stuck in these long situationships, hoping for commitment, hoping that all of a sudden he'll just feel this love and want to be with us. And honestly, he's just not that into you. He's waiting for the one to show up. Now, I can go into a long diatribe about each and every one of these points, but your girl's trying to do better with these long-winded videos. Make sure you guys subscribe and give it a like, and let me know what you think about my observations on this TikTok. And I'll see you guys on the next one.